as the championship battle in the A-League finally heats up. We look back to the league where there is a battle on both fronts of the table. Neptune Nomads and the Hell Clans, 2 points between them at the top, and Quantum Tunnels are leading comfortably for the playoff spots, but down below there are about 8 teams that are still pretty close to that dastardly relegation zone. Woodsman, Cosmonauts, Flashfires, and Steel Force are currently in it. What can they do in this event to try and escape it? In Event 5, the Holeshot Cross for the B-League. It's an event where you just got to maintain, get to that green plate. We saw it in the A-League, of course. I'm sure Raman knows all about this. He can explain it a lot better than I.
Yes, indeed. Marbles will get 2 chances in their heats of 8. The final 4 that stay alive and don't get 2 strikes will be out. So you can get a strike by falling in one of those holes or falling on either side. You want to get to the green plate at the end to avoid getting a strike. We'll see the expedition show here, and a couple of the marbles are going to fall in the holes. The other 2, the Royal Blues and Team Cameo, do get to the end, so those 2 would still have 2 strikes in hand, while the Black Holes and Sky Dragons would be down to their final chance. So remember, it's heats of 8 in the main event, and the final 4 will go on to the final, where we'll do it all again until we have one winner.
The pre-show will get 3 rounds here. This is round 2. You saw Sky Dragons and Black Holes lit up in yellow. That means they're on their last chance. And if Marbles are lit up in green, they still have both their strikes in hand. And there you see everyone cleared the course that time, so no strikes handed out. There'll be no problems whatsoever for anyone, if that happens, of course, in the main show. Bishop, Asteroid, Hydra, and Veil all doing pretty well there, but now we look to the final round. Will anyone actually be eliminated in the Expedition pre-show here? Black Holes and Sky Dragons are the only ones that can. Cameo and Royal Blues are just here for fun at this point. They've got no chance of getting both their strikes. Down they come, Black Holes, plunging onto the track very fast. Sky Dragons do fall on through. Cameo and the Royal Blues will also finish the race and go all 3 rounds strikeless, and the Sky Dragons will be the only team probably eliminated in the Expedition pre-show here, but we're going to look to the main show very shortly. In the main league, we saw, I believe it was Prowler, the reserve of the Marauders, went 6 or 7 rounds completely strikeless. Can anybody beat that here today? That is the current standing Twitter Endurance record, now to be beaten by these teams, as the first heat lines up. City Slimes down to the Hell Clans, with the captain and 2 captains among them, with Pennywise and Ketchup, and off we go in heat 1. No strikes for anyone so far. Let's see how that changes.
And yeah, both of the top 2 in this event with the Neptune Nomads and the Hell Clans both will make it, but 2 marbles come off to the near side. That's the Sweet and Sours, and I think the Condiment Kings both going to get their first strikes. I don't think anyone fell in the holes, so those 2 marbles with Ketchup and Tarts are going to be the only ones that get their first strikes. All the other 6 marbles will still have 2 strikes in hand. Pretty clean throughout here, although there were some close calls for sure here across the board there. Navy Seals almost falling in the hole there. And Serpent Speeders also having a couple of close calls. You can see you can be diverted off your line that can push you to one side or the other. But we'll go at it once again. Round 2. Navy Seals up to the front, Silly Slimes at the back here.
Yeah, they all move forward by 1. So Silly Slimes starting at the front last race, we'll go to the back this time. And Navy Seals, they've decided to rocket forward and try to get down to that course as quickly as they can just to try and finish it. And they will clear it. Looking back, I'm seeing Peacock struggling, and they do fall on through. I think they'll be the only one. Yes, they will be the only one to get a strike here in round 2. Navy Seals came rocketing forward, and I think they were, of course, given 8 marbles plunging down this obstacle course. There were many close calls. I saw Condiment Kings nearly falling through there, and Peacocks almost managed to escape, and the Slimes from the back also cutting it very close. But we got 3 teams now on 1 strike. There's the Condiment Kings getting helped a bit by the Neptune Nomads, and there's the Green Peacocks falling on through, while the Silly Slimes just managed to avoid that fate, and they will keep both of their strikes coming into round 3 here. Kings, Peacocks, and Sweet and Sours have a strike so far. Everybody else still fair game with both their strikes in hand.
And the Kings really try to come down quickly here, and they will get into the holes. They will get their second strike, while 5 marbles make it to the end. Sweet and Sours also got their second strike. How did this transpire? Those 2 teams are both going to be out here. Silly Slimes also fell in one of the holes on the middle there, and so a much more strikeful round here. In round 3, Condiment Kings and the Sweet and Sours both on the far side. The far side really seems to be dangerous in this event so far. A lot of marbles getting some close calls and getting jolted off to the far side wall. And now we're down to only 6. Serpent Speeders down to Navy Seals with Green Peacocks and the City Slimes, the only teams here with only 1 strike in hand.
Both contenders, Nomads and Hell Clans, still on 0 strikes, doing very well so far. Oh, and as I say that, commentator's curse, Neptune Nomads have gotten a strike. Silly Slimes have flown off to the far side. They will get their second strike, and I believe Someone else fell through. I think it was the Navy SEALs. Yes, it was. They've gotten their first strike in this round as well. And the Silly Slimes are gone, so now we're down to 5. Stephen Speeders and the Hell Clowns still have no strikes. There's the Nomads getting their first one. And there's the Navy SEALs from the very back also getting their first one. The Silly Slimes are bad landing onto the grey plate, and they fly off to the far side and are out. One of those relegation candidate teams, not good. They wanted to get to the final to try and avoid that, but there's still 3 events to go here as the final heat lines up. Stephen Speeders and Hell Clowns have no strikes, and the final 3 all still have one. Nomads have come on through, as have the Hell Clowns into the 7 Speeders, so 2 of those that didn't have a strike have fallen off, but so did the Neptune Nomads. Championship leaders have come off. On the far side we have our 4 qualifiers for the final. Green Peacocks, Hell Clowns, Navy SEALs and the 7 Speeders.
A very hard-fought heat in this one. No team came away with both strikes in hand after the first heat. So, lots of strikes being handed out, but we have our 4 that are advancing onto the final. Now, onto the second heat. They've seen it done once. Flash fires down to Steel Force here in the second heat. A lot of teams here towards the middle or even the bottom of the standings, especially the first 2 marbles that are both in the relegation zone. Flash fires are going to try to keep it clean, and yes, they do. And is that all marbles? No, I see only 7 marbles to the green plate. Who got a strike here? Did they fall in one of the holes? We'll have to see. The Quantum Tunnels. Ooh, some impacts there with the Onion Union, perhaps. They will go straight into the hole on the far side. Quanta, the captain of the Quantum Tunnels, will be the only marble that gets a strike here in round 1.
The Onion Union there with some awkward contact almost threw them into a gap as well. Quantum Tunnels off to a slow start to say the least, but they can still pull this back with many rounds to go. Just going to keep going here as the Woodsmen now lead the way as Flash Fires go to the back. Woodsmen and Cosmonauts get further ahead of the pack while Flash Fires are taking their time, and the Woodsmen rocket ahead. They will finish the race. I believe I saw most marbles come across there. I see 7. Someone else has come on through. It's not the Quantum Tunnel, so no one will be eliminated after this round. The marble to fall on through was I think it might have been the Jockeys. Yeah, there they go. The J Jockeys after some racing with the Moneymakers there to get to the bottom as quickly as they could. It just pushed them in. The Moneymakers, they were giving them no space to work with, and that pushed the Jet Jockeys on through. There's the Cosmonauts with a very close call, but they do make it to the bottom pretty soundly. One of those other teams in the relegation bottom 4 as we line up for 8-3 now. Only Quantum Tunnels and J Jockeys have a strike so far. Everybody else doing very well so far here in the heats. And off we go for round 3.
Yeah, perhaps these marbles have identified the pinch points on this course here. There's a lot of marble close calls here, and I see only 5. Commentator's curse once again. A pretty dangerous round here as 3 marbles fall in, and the Quantum Tunnels will get their second strike here. How did this transpire? Oh, drifting off to the center hole there. They will get their second strike. They are done. And a couple of other marbles fell in the holes. I saw Steel Force fall in. And who was the other one? We'll have to see. Woodsman, they did make it. We'll have to see. Who was the other marble?
I believe it was Steel Force. They got their first strike here as well. So Steel Force, J Jockeys and Onion Union all now on 1. All other 4 contenders, including those bottom 3 in the table, Woodsman, Cosmonauts and Flash Fires, still on 0 strikes, and Union also have a strike as well. Quantum Tunnels are out, we're down to 7. Union rocket forward and finish the course with no problems at all. Cosmonauts taking their time. Steel Force have come off. That'll be their second strike. They are out, and the Woodsmen came on through for their first strike as well. But Onion Union came across really quickly. Let's see where it all went wrong. Steel Force, I think they just flew off on a bad landing on the grey plate, and the Cosmonauts have had several close calls in all these rounds, still have no strikes, but Steel Force are out. And that's where it went wrong. Just a poor run down the grey plate, and they fell off to the far side. And there's the Woodsman. They just could not avoid that middle gap after doing expertly to avoid the one directly in front of it. And now we're down to just 6, 3 of which, Moneymakers, Flash Fires, and Cosmonauts, still have no strikes. J Jockeys, Woodsman, and Onion Union all have 1. So it's a very, 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 very hotly contended race here in Heat 2.
And off they go here, fairly clean throughout. Flash Fires off to the near side, and only 4 marbles have made it. Someone has fallen in the hole, and I think that's Onion Union. We'll have to see where they fall on through, but they will get their second strike. They're the only ones to be taken out of this heat now, and we're down to 5 here. Only Moneymakers and Cosmonauts still have 2 strikes in hand, while the other 3 are all hoping that they can survive. Just one more round perhaps is all it will take to get on to the final. But here's where the Onion Union, a beeline to that hole on the far side. They could do nothing to avoid that. But now, J Jockeys, Flash Fires, and Woodsman, the 3 marbles that do have a strike still, are all up to the front. They're really hoping to avoid that here in what is maybe potentially the final round of this heat.
with 3 strikes. Three marbles with a strike running down the race. It's very likely the jockeys have come on through, as have the flash fires. It'll come down to whoever got their first strike later in the event. So we'll see what the graphic says about that. The other 3 who made it will all move on to the final: Woodsman, Cosmonauts, and Moneymakers. And there you see the flash fires have been granted the next round, as they got their first strike in round 5, compared to Jade Jockeys, who got their first strike all the way earlier in round 2. So Jockeys will crash out. They'll probably get 9th place overall in the classification. And yeah, there you see just above the championship leaders Neptune Nomads, and the other 3, Woodsman, Cosmonauts, and the Moneymakers, will advance with the flash fires to with the finalists from the first heat. You'll see lined up in front of the course right here: Hell Clowns, Woodsman, Serpent Speeders, Flash Fires, Cosmonauts, Moneymakers, Navy Seals, and the Green Peacocks, all now fighting for one goal, and that is last marble standing. The last marble to get the first marble, last one remaining to not lose both their strikes, will win this event. And off we go in the first round of the final.
And here they go now. Marbles on very different parts of the course here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marbles at the end there. The Green Peacock's definitely going to get their first strike here. And who was the other one? It was the Woodsman on to the far side, and in that hole, very close to clearing it, but they couldn't avoid it. So, other 6 marbles, all of 2 strikes in hand. Drafting were the Serpent Speeders and the Woodsman there. Serpent Speeders perhaps saw the Woodsman and said, "Oh, I need to get out of the centered line," and quickly diverted their direction to get to the end there. But the Woodsman with Timber and Mutica, so the Green Peacocks are down to their final chance here in the second round. And off they go here. A lot of collisions in the opening funnel here. It's going to cause a big spread as they come down. Woodsman now leading the pack. They will drift off to the near side, and they are done. The Woodsman will be 8th in this event. I do think they and another team are going to be getting their strikes here. And yeah, the Flash Fires also got their first strike, but Woodsman will be out in 8th place.
The Flash Fires, it was a very, very close call. They almost managed to escape it. I'm sure we'll see a replay of it. There's the Woodsman. They just nudged off one gap, and they couldn't keep it clean down the grey plate, and they go out. Here's the Flash Fires, voiding 1 and 2, and then the Cosmonauts almost pushed them into that one on the near side, and the Woodsmen are condemned to just 8th place in the bottom of the table. It is finally a run in the final, so they can probably put this forward to get some other good results later on down the line. But the Flash Fires lead the pack now with a strike. Peacocks also have one. See how this goes in round 3 now. It looks like everyone's going to make it to the bottom. Oh, no, they don't! The Green Peacocks have come off to the far side right at the end. How on earth did that happen? We'll see a replay. I imagine they're the only one, of course, with a strike of having the Flash Fires. They will go out and finish in 7th place. And there you see, it was a shove from the Hell Clowns, knocks the Green Peacocks down to 7th place. That is not going to be popular with the Green Peacocks fans at all, and the Hell Clowns fans are already yelling jeers back at them on the other side of the stadium.
Oh, they are going to be so disappointed going out like that. No marble wants to be pushed off like that to get into their second strike, but the Flash Fires are the only ones remaining here with a single strike, as the other 5 have all done brilliantly and all have 2 strikes in hand. And off they go here for, well, maybe many more rounds of this event. I saw 1 marble go off, and Flash Fires will get their second strike. They will get out in 6th place. Only 3 marbles make it to the end, and the Navy Seals and the Hell Clowns also fell in that hole. No, Hell Clowns went off to the far side, and Navy Seals fell in somewhere earlier on. But a bump there between the Cosmonauts and the Navy Seals pushes them aside. Lots of contact in this event. These marbles giving it their everything. They'll do anything to get their teammates out. The Navy Seals and Hell Clowns in this final 5, the only ones that have a strike here, while the other 3 all have 2 strikes in hand.
Moneymakers, Serpent Speeders, and Cosmonauts, those 3 with no strikes so far. And the kind of Moneymakers streak to the bottom. Navy Seals and Serpent Speeders also make it, and the Cosmonauts make it with a very late lunge after a very close call. And the Hell Clowns come on through for their second strike. They'll finish this event in 5th place, just beeline for the first gap on the far side. And the Cosmonauts, my, they have made several close calls, and there was no one behind them to push them forward this time, but they still managed to get to the bottom. A pretty simple defeat there for the Hell Clowns. And the Cosmonauts, I've been very impressed by their work so far today. They have just still no strikes, and either them and the Moneymakers did not get a single strike in the heats, and have still not got a strike in the finals. And the 7 Speeders also not yet to get a strike in the final here, but Navy Seals fighting the hard battle here, as no one around them has gotten a strike. As I say that, both of the Cosmonauts and 7 Speeders get their first strike, while Moneymakers get a slow finish, and now it's going to be just the Moneymakers with no strikes in hand, and no one gets eliminated here.
Ooh, lots of Close calls here. Moneymakers just crawling to the finish line. They will still have 2 strikes in hand, but they really fought it here in this round. And the Navy SEALs are holding on for dear life here, while the Moneymakers also, you can say for them, they're doing everything here. You can tell they're exhausted this late in this event. Serpent Speeders, Cosmonauts, and Navy SEALs down to their final chance. Moneymakers, they can throw away that advantage here in this round very quickly though. So it's really anyone's game here as the podium is almost determined. Serpent Speeders to the near side, clear to the end, and the other 3 also follow suit. They're all giving it their everything, and they're all gonna hold on to their strikes. Moneymakers still on 2 strikes left, while the other 3 still down to their final chance, but no eliminations here, and we're already on to round 8.
That was a quick turnover for sure. They had no time to rest while the stewards look through the eliminated marbles as we go back straight to Heat 8. Cosmonauts leading it, 7 Speeders at the back, and still the Moneymakers are yet to get their strikes in the round. And off they go. Cosmonauts are rocketing forward. They've come on through, as have the Moneymakers, as have the Serpent Speeders. We'll lose 2 marbles here, and Navy SEALs, the only one who a few rounds ago didn't have any strikes. Moneymakers got 13 rounds without getting a strike, and the Serpent Speeders have been awarded the bronze medal for a better overall performance in the final. Despite that pretty poor second elimination, Moneymakers just rocketed into the center gap, and Navy SEALs, it'll be them or the Moneymakers here, both on 1 strike to win the gold. A straight shootout now, just like what we saw in the A-League, but how quickly will it end? And off they go on the first round of this sudden death round of the Holeshot Cross. Navy SEAls leading the way, well ahead of the Moneymakers. They've fallen through, they've done it! They've fallen on through, and the Moneymakers, who have done so well, 13 rounds without a strike, 15 rounds competed in today, and only 1 of them did they get a strike. Moneymakers, a thoroughly deserved gold medal. They'll jump far away from the relegation zone, as will the Navy SEAls. Both of those 2 are only a few points away from it, and they will escape dramatically here. 7 Speeders will round out the podium with a bronze medal. In fact, all the top 4 there were very close to the relegation zone before this event came around. They'll get far enough away, and that battle will become less chances to escape, and the Hell Clans will reassume first place after getting top 5 again. That's the 5th time in a row in this season that the Hell Clans have gotten that top 5 result. Well done to all those top 5 teams, but especially the Moneymakers. What a performance. Yeah, you see the Hell Clans now 3 points clear of the Neptune Nomads. Plum Tunnels, despite getting last, hold 3rd place, but there's pressure from Peacocks and Serpent Speeders now right behind. Iron Union go down a few, and the Condiment Kings have slipped into the relegation zone, along with Flashfire, Steel Force, and the Woodsman. It's starting to heat up on both fronts of the B-League. We're going back to the A-League, where it's really heating up in Event 11 for the Balance Battle.